Piet Louis and Renee from South Africa. Lulu, can we test sound?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me, Piet Louis?
Hello, guys. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Goeiemôre, ek hoor julle baie goed. Sorry, I hear you very well.
Hi, Peter.
Good, can we start? Everybody ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Piet Louis Grinding. I work for Environmental Affairs, Forestry and Tourism in South Africa, National Department. You can see my beautiful logo here. So I'm here officially this morning, and thank you very much for your time. I would like to acknowledge at this time the RE-PEAT organizers, wonderful group of young people who is running with this initiative. It's excellent news, and it's wonderful to join the international community on this great awareness exercise on peatlands and mires. Yeah, the International Mire Conservation is a group of very dedicated people that's concerned about mires and peatlands for various reasons. These things are beautiful and diverse. They're the biggest store of terrestrial carbon in the world, 10% of our fresh water, and so they are very important for the well-being of the human race and for Earth. And as such, it's great to be part of this whole initiative. Thank you very much that we were invited for this. And I also would like to acknowledge our beautiful team that is working on this in South Africa. These include Lulu van Rooyen, who is the chair of the South African Wetland Society. And I'm very proud because he is filling my boots. I was there a few times before her. And then Dr. Alana Rebello from University of Stellenbosch, and for her involvement. And then our two great students working on the administrative side, Renee Grinding, no family of myself, and then Petra God. So ladies, well done, and thank you very much. Okay, so also to the South African Wetland Society, the board, who was involved in the background as well, especially with the photo competition. All right, so let's, and then obviously our sponsors for these wonderful prizes they've given us, and Prof. Ab Grootjans and Renee Becker and the other board members of the ERA Stichting in the Netherlands. Thank you very much. All right, so our first question, and this question is about Africa. And our first question was, which one of these peatlands is most likely the oldest mire in the world? Wonderkrater, Moray songs in Mauritius, the Congo Basin in DRC, and then Fabeni in Isimangalisu. Wonderkrater is about 37,000 years old. Moray songs and the Congo Basin of Holocene age around 10,000, and the oldest, probably most active mire in the world is Mfabeni in South Africa. So yeah, great one. Next slide, please. So yeah, so interestingly, most people thought Wonderkrater. So Wonderkrater is an Afrikaans word that literally means miracle crater. And it's actually not a crater, it's a dome. So perhaps it represents a crater in a way, but it's a dome. And it's located in the Limpopo province of South Africa. It's artesian spring. And Fabeni, on the other hand, is about 50,000 years old. And it's located in the coastal province of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. And in an interdune setting, and it has survived for a very long time. And it is still actively accumulating peat, consisting of swamp forest and sphagnum open sedge component. Our next question was then, Egypt has 4 Ramsar sites. How many are the peatlands according to Ramsar? We said according to Ramsar because they say there's none, but I think there are peatlands, but the Ramsar sites don't contain peat. The next question was then, okay, yeah, and sorry about that. Most people then said that 0, so yeah, so they got that right. Next slide. This French, sorry guys. The Nianese peat deposit in Senegal, West Africa, accumulated peat in which geological period? And late Pleistocene, Holocene, Cambrian, or Jurassic. And so it will be the top 2, I guess. And the right question was late Pleistocene, so also one of the older ones. So Africa has got these old peatlands. Great, and what did people say? They said mostly late Pleistocene, so they got that correct. Okay, next one. Why does Botswana have the highest mire to wetland ratio in Southern Africa? It's, well, the first one, estuarine, no. Most lakes in Africa, no. The last inland river delta, that was a very important one and entirely consisting of peatland, no. Interestingly though, that the largest river inland delta is correct, but also at one stage the Kavango Delta, which is this wonderful place, was the largest Ramsar site in the world for quite a period of time. Excellent place to visit. Thank you very much. And most people said, yeah, they got that right, the largest inland river delta. By the way, in Africa, I think there's about 9 of these things, of these inland deltas in Africa. All right. Then the longest river in the world rises from which peatland? Nail's Vlei, which means literally the Nail wetland. In South Africa, our forefathers here from South Africa, when they moved up from the Cape northward, saw this wonderful plains and they thought they've reached the Nile. Then the Okavango Delta in Botswana, Rugezi, Rwanda, and Lake Zouai, Ethiopia. Well, Lake Zouai is not a peatland, so it is Rugezi in Rwanda. And most people said Rugezi, Rwanda. Wonderful. So our people were quite good in this. And then this very mind-boggling question: which animal burrows in the degraded mires of the highlands of Lesotho? Very important mires these. They are beautiful places, and they are also very important for South Africa because that is where a lot of our water comes from through various transfer pump schemes, which was in the 1990s one of the biggest engineering projects in the world, together with the English Channel, under the English Channel. And these mires are degraded due to erosion and so on because of overgrazing. So lion, ice rats, warthogs, hippos, and ice rats it is. So yeah, so, and, man, these guys were good. They got that right. Excellent. And then, does the highest mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, Tanzania, have peatlands? Yes or no? And the question is, yes. Oh, sorry, the answer is yes. Thank you, Renee. I'm getting so excited. One of the places I wish I could visit. Yeah, and these mires, I've got wonderful vegetation. Some of the plants they share, or the mountains share, is actually with Mount Kenya. Beautiful mires and beautiful, unique plants that have developed in those high altitudes. Thank you. And the next. So, which African basin has the largest tropical peatland in the world? Lake Chad, unfortunately, has dried up. The Volta Basin, is that in Africa? And then the Kuyui Basin. No, the answer is the Congo Basin. And that is wonderful. Yeah, 15 million hectares of peatland, the largest peatland in the world. The previous one was, that we know of, was in Siberia. Interesting in science is that this Congo Basin has been discovered twice by the British and reported once in Nature. So, there's some double work there by the British. Anyway, they've always been thorough. Next one. So, palmite systems, Prenonium serratum, are endemic to which coastal region in Africa? Algeria, Cameroon. The answer is South Africa. And this wonderful plant, the name palmite comes from Afrikaans palm and reed, and palm and reed. And so, yeah, it's a endemic plant to Southern Africa. And so these systems are under threat in our country, unfortunately, due to agriculture, erosion, and lately peat fires. But they are really beautiful and unique sites. And if you want to know more about it, contact Alana. She works on it. Thank you. Next one. People got that right, by the way. So the Republic of Mauritius has one of the lowest average area to peat depth ratios in the world, with a value of 0.31. And why do you think this is? So, yeah, so the two outer islands, Mauritius and Al-Agalega, consist of entirely peat, which is incorrect. There's a question about the mangroves, and then it's about tourism, and the one is that the peatlands actually occur in volcanic craters. And in this case, the one crater is only the 0.3 hectares in area. In the crater itself, the peat is 10 meters deep. So yeah, that's why we get this very low ratio of 0.3 to 1. So that is a place I've been able to visit, but not the peatland yet. Hopefully I'll get there. Thank you. Next one. And yeah, so most people said it's because of the mangroves, and then 13% got the one right about the volcanic crater. And by the way, this question and the answer determines our ultimate winner in the end. So a very key question. So yeah, so 40 people participated from 14 countries, and people come from different occupations. This was quite interesting, and we'll get to that one. So most people that competed was from South Africa, and from Lesotho, so quite a bit of people from Southern Africa, quite a bit from Europe, United Kingdom, and Germany, and a bit from Australia. Yeah, so and it was a great competition throughout and well represented through the world. South America. Chile, there are. And obviously, the person that must have won must be a barista, I think. Only good coffee can make you get all these questions right. So yeah, so really it's wonderful. The part of the idea of this whole quiz was to raise awareness. And if you look at the occupations, then people from all walks of life participated, and that is great news for us. Excellent. So yeah, so the average was actually, although a lot of people got individual questions mostly right, the average score was here between 7 and 9. So yeah, so that was interestingly, and only one person got the correct, except me, obviously. But yeah, so why? And I think some of the data is not always well known and not so well published, and that tells us in South Africa we should publish a bit more, so that your results, especially now that we've got so many platforms, can be more known across the world. So yeah, let's promote inter-African science and communication about our Mayas and peatlands. Okay, yeah, so, and the winner that will stay for 3 days in Marakele National Park and visit this beautiful Maya that you see there in the middle photo, and that will have the pleasure of having me as the escort into the field only. We've got 15 out of 15 is Elise from France. Excellent. Well done. That is good news. And we trust that Elise will be able to take up the prize for 2 people, sponsored by ERA in South Africa, in Marakele National Park, through all this COVID-19 troubles, and join us. So well done. I wonder what Elise did for doing for a living. Okay, good. Any questions?
Is Elise with us? Yes, hi.
Ah, Elise, there you are. Well done.
Congratulations.
Really enjoyed the questions. I mean, it really got me exploring and learning a huge amount of stuff about African peatland. So I really enjoyed it. I can't believe it.
Well done, Elise. Have
Thanks
you
a
been to
lot.
Mauritius?
No, I haven't. But I was searching and researching and learning lots of things. I learned that dodos were living in wetlands.
Yeah. Elise, what are you doing for occupation?
Right now, I'm looking for a job, but I'm I'm the lead of the Youth Engaged in Wetlands Network, which is a volunteer network.
So we trust you will join us in South Africa. It will be a privilege to have you here.
It would be. I'm really excited. We're really excited.
Young man, are you coming with?
What? Sorry?
The gentleman in the background, is he joining us?
Yes.
Good. Okay, it will be a privilege to take you with us. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Elise. Congratulations once again.
Thanks. Excellent questions.
Good. Thank you very much. That's all I knew about Peatland. So yeah, so that's it. That's my 30 years of knowledge. Okay, thank you very much. So let's get on to the photo contest. And wow, what a beautiful contest it was. And this the adjudicating team was the board members of the South African Wetland Society. So yeah, so we had 45 photos, 19 photographers from 12 countries. So once again, a fairly wide exercise. So the judges really looked at composition, the sharpness of the photo, the exposure, the color, and then also, did you manipulate the photo or not? So was it your natural talent that sits in that photo, or did you manipulate the photo? And that was quite important in the end. And then the theme and the creativity of the composition of the photo.
Just a quick question, was it the manipulation a good thing or a bad thing?
So basically, we left it to the judge's discretion to include it into their criteria marks. But mostly it was the 4 criteria about the sharpness, composition, the color, and the theme, if that answers your question.
Lulu, do you want to say something about it as the chair?
No, I think Renee answered it perfectly. We didn't say it's not allowed, but the people did have to, they had to compare it to the other more natural photos and decide whether they wanted to give it extra points or not, if it was clearly edited.
Good. I just want to say that these photos were great. I've seen them before, the whole range of them, and I was surprised at the winning photo because I like landscapes and so on and so on. But anyway, we rest with what the judges have decided. So the top 3 photos: number 3, I mean, is the purple heron of Nieuwkoop's Plassen. That was the 3rd place at nearly 82%. The photographer was Ellen, and it's a purple heron sitting in a forested mire in the Netherlands. Beautiful photo. And this bird actually occurs in South Africa as well. So wonderful, thank you. The next photo is another bird, and also from Nieuw Plassen. And I cannot see what's the photo there. Is it the same lady?
Yeah, it is the same lady. Okay,
so 3rd and 2nd place for these wonderful full photos. And yeah, the winner then of the 3-day stay at Marakele National Park as well is this photo of verloren vlei, which means lost wetland. And this photo shows a jetty that was built into the wetland. This is a Ramsar site. I think it was about the 5th Ramsar site in South Africa. It's located on the west coast. It's a very dry area of the country. And the fact that we've got a peatland there with 6 meters of peat is nearly a miracle. And actually, the fact that its peat was only discovered last year, when I assume this photo was taken, and yeah, so June last year. And the reason why we discovered this peat is because the lake was drying out, and we were able to get into parts of the system. And so when this jetty was built, the concrete casings would have settled on the peat. And the water level has been declining in the top layers as the peat were drying out. Due to drought, we had a very bad drought in the area, but also over-exploitation of the ground on the table for agriculture. And these concrete casings maintained their position on the framework and telling the story of the amount of peat lost and ultimately destruction of this peatland. The photographer, Pieter Botha from South Africa. And I think we have Mr. Botha online today, Pieter.
Môre, ja. Sorry, morning. Yes, I'm here.
Pieter, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much. It's it
why do you
brings
hold your
tears
head?
to my eyes to see it.
Out of the happiness for the photo, or out of the tragedy for the peatland?
Both.
Well done, Pieter. Lulu, would you like to say anything to Pieter from your side, from the board, please?
Hi, sorry, just struggling to unmute. Peter, well done, congratulations. You won by about 2%, and it was a clear winner for from all the judges. And there were some really competitive photos. So well done. All your photos were really good, but this one stood out. And yeah, we're looking forward to hosting you in Marakele. It's going to be a great trip.
Congratulations.
And we should try to get both winners at the same time there. I think that'll be a very special excursion.
Elise, yeah, we can see if we can organize it that way. Pieter actually doesn't stay too far from Marakele, so he stays about 2 hours drive. So for me, it will not be too difficult to get there. And I know it's one of his favorite parks as well. I know Pieter because we actually were on this wetland together when we discovered it. So yeah, Pieter, congratulations. Elise, well done. And thank you once again to the organizers. We are really privileged to be part of this. Unfortunately, I have to announce that the IMCG 2020 tour to South Africa will need to be postponed due to the COVID-19 virus. We really are very sad about this, but unfortunately we expect the peak in South Africa to be in September. Then we have to deal with all the tragedy of people and so on that will be suffering from it. And then as we go into December, when the IMCG would have taken place, we will go into a better time for us. But then unfortunately in Europe, you're going perhaps into the second wave. And so, yeah, we are the IMCG 2020 Field Symposium until a later date. So, yeah, so great that we as the IMCG 2020 team could have participated in this. Thank you very much. And please keep watching the RE-PEAT website. All the beautiful photos will be updated. And thank you once again for the South African Wetland Society, the Society of Wetland Scientists, the International Mine Conservation Group, and ERA, and the RE-PEAT team for doing this wonderful initiative. Thank you very much.